Welcome to the Indie Corner, where we talk about all things independent comics, especially the greatest superhero comic book in the universe. Robert Kirkman's Invincible. I'm Mikey.
I'm Demoan.
And today, people, back at it again with episode 23, people. 23. Again, I'm still impressed that we've made it this far without stalling for another year.
Especially when we get to like a side story issue.
Exactly.
Those ones always push us.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're back on it. 23. Obviously, you can tell by the two of us just being here that we're doing another side thing because
we're the side story guys.
Those two other cowards didn't want to fucking do it.
They just don't have the commitment. I don't know.
Yeah. But again, the exception is this week is a double episode a week. So once we get this episode done, obviously we're gonna do our event on Saturday, which is the death of everyone. That's going to be, I think, 96 to 197 to 102. So
yeah. That sounds right.
I'm excited. I hope you're excited, but we got to get through this shit first. And so what we're talking about today, Guarding the Globe, again, Volume 2 of Guarding the Globe.
Do you want to recap a little what happened last time?
I mean, we'll do that real quick. But yeah, so it's written by now it's written by Phil Hester only. So Robert Kirkman is not co-writing this one, and it is drawn by one of my personal favorite artists, Todd Knock, who I know him from Young Justice back in the 90s. Like that was like his entire run, and I love his art. And yeah, so that's like the quick change. So yeah, so basically what happened last time. Shit, what happened last time?
They had to form the new Guardians of the Globe because
and then they
went to space.
Yeah. And then they went global, which was cool. And we got all those, which we said was one of the best parts of the book.
That were cool, and they had a bunch of bases around the world.
Yeah,
and then this ancient Chinese crime gang headed by a man in a helmet.
Yeah, it's the Order.
And if we're being completely honest, he won.
He did win. No, he whooped so much ass.
Britt just got lucky and knocked off his helmet, and he was like, "Damn, I had the helmet on for so long, I can't conquer the world now until I put the helmet back on and regain my powers because I needed to conquer the world without using my powers."
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. I figured out what his name was from reading this one, and his name's Set. That's his name.
That makes sense.
I don't know what the fuck they called him, but it's probably something stupid. But that happened.
Child, the Yeti Man's a child.
Yeti Man's a child.
And then Robot and Monster Girl are back too.
They came back at that time, and also what's it called? El Chupacabra's a failure. I remember that.
Yeah,
he got what's his name? Freaking Cast Iron killed.
Yeah, he got the boy killed.
Which you were upset about. I remember this.
I was. That was real. That was traumatizing. I liked Cast Iron.
Yeah, he was cool.
He was Colossus, and it was fun.
Listen, as long as they don't kill Le Bruiser, I will stop. I will be fine. If they kill him, I will stop reading.
Le Bruiser, I do think we stop the podcast if Le Bruiser dies. I don't think we finish it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we just stopped it. We would just quit entirely because
No, I mean, I'm not saying quit entirely, but this podcast, it's never finished.
Exactly. But yeah. And basically, so I remember the end that happened. What happened last time when the Order fought the New Guardians? It ended them we have Set won. He basically I fucking won. He dipped, and all of Paris was destroyed. And yeah, that's basically it from what I remember. Just new roster. The new roster, the Order happening, and we saw all the villains that we've seen in Invincible in that organization, and then Set winning, and then Paris being destroyed.
Damn.
That's basically it. So I mean, is there anything you want to add, Demo, before we start the first issue?
Nothing really important. Most of the stuff is stuff that's going to be referenced in the book. That I would talk about from the last volume, but nothing else really.
Yeah, for sure. Also, before we begin, just real quick, I want to mention that one of our episodes of Invincible, Demoan, is the second most viewed viewed video on the Students of S.H.I.E.L.D. channel.
That's very impressive.
It's our video on the Invincible War. For some reason, people are freaking watching a lot, which we're grateful for. We're not complaining.
More viewers, the better.
But like, yeah, it's been that video alone. I'm assuming, from what I saw in the analytics, is the second most watched, and is also has increased our subscriber count. So I think we're now at 148 subscribers, so almost at 150, and the video right now on the Invincible has 444 views.
That's satisfying.
Which we appreciate, but we're just like, what the hell? Last time we saw it at 12. It literally had 12 last time. So
that kind of growth is crazy, man.
Yes. So thank you for people who are watching that video. I appreciate it. Like, it makes sense because the whole Invincible buzz right now, especially with the show.
That makes sense.
But yeah, and also like check out our other videos. Don't just watch that one. I mean, all the other videos we've done are great. So yeah. All right. So no further ado, Demoan, you got issue number 1?
Yeah, issue number 1. So we start out issue number 1.
Cool cover, dude.
It's a great cover.
Honestly, I kind of like Knott's art a lot more for the Guardians than Ransom Getty, to be honest with you.
No, I think it fits a lot of the characters better. Yeah. I think some of the that was one of the things we said. Some of the characters looked a little strange.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like the way they look in this.
And obviously, we see our boy Bulletproof in the back, as Invincible now.
Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's no longer bulletproof.
No longer bulletproof. He's been invincible for 1 month, so now he's the Invincible going forward for now.
That's right. He's Black Invincible.
Levincible. That's what Christian called him last time. Levincible.
Levincible. I like it. That's definitely a name. But anyway, the issue starts off with our boy Britt fighting these giant rock lava men.
They're called like the Magnamites, I think.
Yeah, they're called Magnamites. And he's getting help from Knockout, Kid Thor, Japandroid, and that's Black Samson, right?
Yeah, Black Samson.
Okay, so he's getting help all from them. And one of them takes a chomp on his glove, and he has to throw it off. And Japandroid, and I want to point this out because I didn't before. Japandroid's back. Japandroid was the only person who wasn't frozen from set.
Yeah.
His helmet fell off, and she got her ass just destroyed.
Yeah.
She even admitted to herself that she had less than like a 1,000th% chance of winning.
Facts.
But you know what? She's a trooper. She still tried, but she failed.
It's funny because Matt, like, even though he didn't fucking read, also I'm gonna call out our other boys for not reading. When Japan showed up in the last episode, he's like, I love Japan. They're like, you could have seen more of her if you read Guarding the Globe.
It's true. And honestly, the Japandroid stuff in Guarding the Globe is actually kind of good.
It is good.
especially that scene at the end I talked about from the last one.
Yeah.
So if you like Japandroid, I would definitely read Guarding the Globe.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, Japandroid figures out that these lava men want metal, so she kicks a car at them. So I don't know how someone's going to claim this on insurance, but they start eating the car. And she figures that out, and then Kid Thor knocks water on them, and I think they're just frozen in place.
They just froze. Yeah, because it kind of reminded me, remember like Fantastic Four, like the movie, when like they said, oh, like when cold reacts to extreme heat, like it freezes immediately. So yeah, I think that's what they did here.
But anyway, they call the fire department. They hose down these rock monsters to make them stop moving and keep them that way. And then Britt has the teleporter come because he's late. He has to go.
I think it's Miss Popper.
Miss Popper, yep. And but Miss Popper shows up like half ready, and Britt gives her some sass for it, and she's like, "Shut up! You're the one that's late." But anyway, Britt teleports, and they teleport into the office of this man. He has to be a psychiatrist or psychologist. I'm guessing a psychologist because he's be diagnosing this kid. But anyway, and and they're diagnosing Britt and his wife's kid.
Yeah,
and,
Britt Jr.
Yeah, Britt, and it seems like Britt Jr.'s he thinks differently than most people, and they think he's somewhere on the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the doctor is very forward that he doesn't know exactly how this will manifest because they don't know.
He's too young. Like that's how usually how it works.
They don't know enough about the disease, and the kid's too young. So like it could manifest as like some severe debilitating autism eventually, or it could just be some slight social awkwardness.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they don't know. It's too early to tell, and they also don't know what caused it. And
that's usually the case with autism, though. Like, there's not really no one really knows where autism, like how it happens.
Yeah. Like some people think it's a gene. Apparently, this guy also says that some people think the environment's fucking it up. Mm-hmm. But then he gets to the one that's interesting, and he says some people think it's related to parents' age. Now, I don't know if you remember, but Britt is ancient.
He's like 100 years old.
Yeah, he's so old. Like you'll see later here. For some reason, he was given the mitt of Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson's rookie year, he received a mitt from Jackie Robinson, like a baseball mitt. And like that, and that was just nothing to him. So he's like old and rich and wealthy, but he used to own a strip club. Yeah. So you know how it is.
What I thought was interesting is because like either I thought, okay, when he said the age thing, that was cool, like okay, that could be a factor that was kind of interesting, but also like maybe it's the way like he said like it's also like their genes, so maybe like the way because like Britt's powers, maybe like we don't. I mean, we didn't read the Britt solo series that I didn't add it to the spreadsheet. That probably like a bonus episode, but that goes into like how he got his powers. And maybe it could be that. I don't know.
Actually, now that you said it's how he got his powers, I'm kind of interested to read it.
Yeah.
But definitely not right now. We'll get back to it. Anyway, the kid might have autism of some sort. But they say it's still too early to tell, basically. But they do give Britt and his wife a pamphlet.
Pamphlets always help.
And then we flash away to Hong Kong. Dude. And you see that Best Tiger and Kaboomerang are walking around the streets eating. And then Best Tiger takes Kaboomerang to a place that Kaboomerang describes as a little bit too authentic.
Yeah.
Which could be taken as racist, but he just means there's a lot of seedy elements around.
He thought he was being taken on a vacation or like a mini like getaway or something like that.
Yeah, and he was, and then they took him into this great club with beautiful women and everything, and he's like, you know what, Best Tiger, anything I said about you, I take it back. You're a good man. You have good eyes. It's very nice here. And also, I want to say this: they're having a conversation before. And Best Tiger is talking to Kaboomerang. Kaboomerang makes a joke that Best Tiger is actually blind and is just so good at kung fu that he can just get by as passing as a sighted person. And I think it's hilarious because Best Tiger's reaction gave me no indication that was false.
I like how like they with Kirby creating Best Tiger, he literally like it's people thinking that he's Daredevil, but no, he's just good.
He's actually reverse Daredevil.
He is. He literally wears the blindfold to challenge himself.
Gosh. But anyway, Kaboomerang is like, hey, this is seedy, and we're not really getting service. And then he's like, oh shit, this is a mission, and Best Tiger is a tiger, and tigers are always hunting.
Yep.
And they're on a mission. And
I love Best Tiger so much.
I think Best Tiger and Kaboomerang is a fun duo. I would read a buddy comic of those.
I would read a spinoff of this. Like we said that, like we would love to see like Alan and Nolan do a spinoff. That'd be great. But like I would also fuck with the Kaboomerang Best Tiger spinoff as well.
Yeah, that would be both. Those would be fun, I think. But after that, we go back to Virginia and we go to Britt and Donald playing catch in the yard. This is where the mitt comes in that I was telling you about. And Donald's having them play catch because he thinks it's going to help resolve things. But then Donald has some breakthroughs. He says things like, "You are just a collection of habits that you've developed in order to attain certain needs, and that's what yourself is." But now he doesn't even have those have those habits because he doesn't need to go to the bathroom. He doesn't need to eat. Even sleeping, which he still does, is by choice. Like, he doesn't need to sleep. Like, that's just him thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go home and consciously turn off and sleep.
Word.
So he has that breakthrough, and Britt tells him, "Hey, the fact that you're questioning this is a good sign. It means that you're not broken, and like you're still human, at least a small piece." But he says they're going to be late for work, and Donald flies them into work. Now, Invincible, or Blavincible, he comes and sees he
Outrun.
sees LeBruiser smoking.
Yeah. With
LeBruiser,
Outrun, and they're just like, he's a dog. Why is he smoking?
yeah, and they just say it feels wrong. But this dog is stressed. His home country just got obliterated. So, like, I think he has some room to smoke.
Exactly.
But anyway, more people come see the smoking dog, say that's wrong. And then they go inside the Pentagon, where Blavincible starts complaining to Cecil about the food spread at the superhero meeting. And then Cecil has the audacity to walk up to LeBruiser and pet him like he really is an actual dog.
Yeah.
And LeBruiser doesn't honestly look like he's having it.
No, he looks pissed.
But we see robots back. They're briefing the world. He's giving them a brief. They learn that the Magnemites, they're not working with Doc Seismic anymore, which is good. But they eat iron, and if they run out of iron, they have to come and take some. So Japandroid is Robot says Japandroid is probably going to suggest just sending them like iron as a peacekeeping, to keep them peaceful, so they don't have to bother us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just like scrap, we make so much scrap iron, just monthly send it to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then he goes over that Best Tiger and Kaboomerang are in Hong Kong, taking down slave traders who are exporting tar heroin and advanced cybernetics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a weird turn, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's a weird combination. It's a strange combination. But we do know that Best Tiger actually got this lead all by himself, and Robot's actually commending him on how remarkable it is that he's able to do this.
Yeah, they say that like he respects him because she's extremely smart, and everyone thinks that he's just a blind dude who knows kung fu.
Yeah, like he can look at like crime statistics and tell that something's happening in a certain area based on the crime statistics, even if it's only a small drop.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But then we get to El Chupacabra, that monster. He apparently busted up a bike gang that killed 2 court judges last year. And Britt's not happy.
Yeah, because he's like, why is he still on the team? He basically caused Cast Iron's death, and then obviously Cecil tried to be like, oh no, he's reformed, like he found God and all that stuff.
Yeah, but apparently Cecil's been weaning him back onto the superhero game. Small stuff only though, because he has to build up. He's on his 12-step program, like he's really working for it, which I'm gonna say I'm proud of El Chupacabra, but like this is superheroing, and I don't think his second chance should be here.
Word.
Mm-hmm. But Britt's still against it. He calls it a halfway house of a agency, but Cecil insists that he was valuable. And then Britt comes with the clapback of "So was Cast Iron." And you know what? Cast Iron was valuable.
He was valuable.
Mm-hmm. Too bad Chupacabra fixed that. And then Britt just storms off. And then we actually go to Kuwait, And we go to this guy. He's running around. All these people have slave collars on them, and he's looking for his master. And one of the slaves points him in the right direction. And he's worried about something. It seems like there's something going wrong with the cybernetics and stuff. And he comes to see this guy, and this guy's like, "You'll wake up the children."
Mm-hmm.
And then we fade back to Fairfax. And we're talking about the child again. And the mom's, she says she always knew.
Yeah, Jessica.
She thought it was her. She thought it was like a postpartum depression thing. But like apparently she could even tell it when she was breastfeeding. And like they're looking at this child and she's crying and she's like, it's like they're not even there to the child. And of course Britt tries to console us and he tells her like, this is our son, he deserves our love. And she assures him she's never going to stop loving him. She just wants him to be able to feel the love.
Yeah.
But anyway, now we go back to Pyongyang, North Korea. Is that how it's pronounced? I don't know if I think
Pyongyang.
That's pronounced.
Yeah, you got it right ish.
Okay, good. I got close at least. People would be able to tell. But the point is, it seems like they've had the death of a supreme leader.
I'm assuming it's Kim Jong-il.
I don't know what supreme leader. I just assume it's random North Korean dictator because let's be honest, if they put any of the Kim Jongs in a comic, you saw what they did with the interview.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, they're having the funeral and one of the priests, I guess, says that everyone's forbidden. The only person allowed to come through with the casket and him is people of the most royal bloodline. Yeah. And that's for a reason. So this man brings his father in and we see a silhouette. And he says, "Hey, calm yourself, you little dictator. I bring you good news. Your father, he served me like he served his father. This man's father served the silhouette. And the man's father and the silhouette kept them safe and gave them power. And of course, this man's like, what the fuck? My father never told me anything about this." And he starts screaming, "Liar and assassin," and pulls out a sword and attacks him. And he attacks a very familiar skin color. And then we pan out to a very familiar face. And it's Set. And Set's telling him, "Hey, your father made a mistake. Don't make the same mistake, otherwise you'll end up dead like him." So apparently he not only killed, apparently Set's the real leader of North Korea. And that's the end of the first issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. All right. Well, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on? I think this is it's good. It's all right.
It's a solid start.
I find it. I kind of find it. Well, like what's interesting about like especially like the stuff with like I kind of like the art that they're doing with like Britt and like Jessica and Britt Jr. because like I've never really seen like autism explored in a comic before. So like
I really like we're exploring that.
Yeah, so like just like focusing on like them like dealing with this obstacle as parents is very interesting, especially with like the fact that like Britt's like 100 years old and is a superhero.
Yeah. So like he has a lot of things that could have helped cause this in his child.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they don't know what causes autism. Maybe it's being a superhero.
Yeah. Everybody just he never makes time for his kid. Just kidding. It's awful. But no, this I thought it was solid. I mean, again, we're just getting like it's that storyline as well as like a refresher of like what happened previously and just reintroducing the characters again.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup, which is fine for a first issue. Like that's I'd rather have more setup than less. Or yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but Although it's I really now I think I now I kind of want to I kind of want to see I wish we would have gotten a Kaboomerang Best Tiger like mini series or something. That would be so cool.
Like I said, that would be really fun. Like
Uh,
that's because that would have been a really fun buddy cop one because
it
you
would
have
have been, yeah.
who just doesn't communicate anything, and then Kaboomerang who's just along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. So that would have been fun.
It would
Yeah.
have been.
All right. So any other thoughts?
Maybe we'll write Kirkman and maybe he'll get on it later.
Yeah. If we ever get Kirkman onto the show,
Mm-hmm.
be like, yo, do a Kaboomerang Best Tiger do a miniseries, please. And they'd be like, why would you want that? I'll probably question it. Oh god. All right. So any other thoughts before move on?
No, nothing really.
All right. So then we'll just get right to it. So yeah. So issue 2 of Guarding the Globe. Cool cover, and we'll see who Kaboomerang and Best Tiger Fighting are in this issue. Which this cover makes me want a miniseries. Like this is cool. Like I would fuck with this.
Like this is
Yeah.
cool. Like I said, they're doing like it's just Best Tiger, and then Kaboomerang along for the ride.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, great cover. I really dig it. So this issue starts with again the Guardians of the Globe are trying to rescue people in in a flash flood in Bangladesh. Anyways, we get this cool page of him like covered in mud. I think it's really cool. Yeah, they're trying to rescue civilians, like look for any survivors. Britt basically like found this girl, and she had a brother, but the brother didn't survive. Like he's gone. He has hope that he can save him, but at this point, it's just too much. It's too much for them to handle.
Right.
And so and then Robot is just giving Britt some orders while
because Robot is now the official leader of the Guardians now.
Yeah, he's the leader. Yeah, I mean, which I think we've established in the main story that he's the leader now. But yeah, so he's like, yo, just get the civilians onto the truck. But at the same time, Monster Girl and Yeti are trying to hold this bridge up together because they're holding up the bridge together so that they can actually go across to like a more safer location. And I find this hilarious because like Monster Girl's she's lifting she's doing she's pushing her all into this while Yeti is like kind of like complaining a little bit because he's kind of a child.
Mikey, he doesn't know how to swim.
He doesn't know how to swim. Which makes sense. It makes sense because he lives in Antarctica. He lives in like the Himalayas or something. So like
he doesn't need to know.
Yeah. So once they start operating the truck with the civilians, Britt starts getting angry, like saying how could you just leave your children out there like that alone during a flash flood? How dare you? They're so fragile, and so how can you leave something so precious? And freaking Kid Thor and Robot and Rex are like, dude, they just lost their kid. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, gotta chill the fuck out. And it's because the dad speaks English and understands it, and is like, dude, like, I know you're a superhero, and I appreciate you saved our lives, but like, don't be a fucking asshole. She can't even understand what you're saying anyway. Like, and then again, so then after that, it transitions to Monster Girl and Yeti, and then Yeti reveals sort of Monster Girl have something to tell you, like, oh, please tell me you're not trying to flirt with me, you're not attracted to me, are you? Please tell me you're not. It's like, oh no, not that. I can't swim. It's like, yeah, of course you can. So then they're just saving more people, saving more lives. Pegasus is doing stuff, Shapesmith is doing stuff, Miss Popper's doing stuff, Invincible doing stuff. And so then again, Britt calls Cecil and be like, yeah, okay, we need a lot more. I mean, like, we have everything under control, but it's going to take a lot longer than expected. Transitions back to our boys, Best Tiger and Kaboomerang in Kuwait. They're onto a lead. Best Tiger is trying to interrogate this guy. It's like, so basically their Hong Kong their Hong Kong triad lead led them to Kuwait, and basically I love how he's just talking to dude in Mandarin, and he's just like, he just mentions right. He just says to him like, his like, right hand while he's done interrogating, and he leaves to then fucking shoot this man like 30 feet away while he's holstering his gun and shoots him in the right hand. I'm like, dude, what can this guy not do? Like, you know?
It's nothing. The answer is nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, so once they walk away to the next location that they got from the next location that the guy gave them, they end up going to this lab, and they find again these women with these very blue babies, and Kaboomerang questions, yo, why the fuck are they blue? To then this actually shocked me. I was like, what the fuck? Like this was
Yeah, I didn't see this coming.
I didn't see this coming at all.
I didn't realize the Maulers had a role in this.
Yeah, so like there's a Mauler twin here, and it's
listen. He's the real Mauler.
Yeah, like from looks of it, he's Mauler Prime.
Most certainly not a clone.
Yeah, from looks of it, he's Mauler Prime, because the last time we saw the Mauler twins, Oliver killed them. Mm-hmm. So that was a big shock. And he's like, oh yeah, and he's like, he's like, what's wrong with Blue and all that other stuff. And he's just going on a monologue about like, how he's like a villain. No, I'm simply a family man. And Kobe's like, that's fucking gross. And he thinks he fucked all these women to get blue babies.
He's a family man. That's important.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm no sexual deviant. He's been like, he's basically just wants to like speed up evolution with his DNA. So he's been basically like essentially like using like in vitro fertilization to basically like make clones of themselves, with like obviously with women being like voluntary hosts.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't call them voluntary hosts.
Yeah, they're involuntary hosts. We'll say that. So then basically like Kaboomerang's like, yeah, fuck this. He throws a boomerang at him, and he's like, wait a minute, it's a hologram. And it's like, and then Best Tiger's like, yo, quiet, there's bad coming. He doesn't say like his vocabulary is so limited, but like it's so funny. To then reveal that, oh yeah, no, this isn't the only experiment that he's been doing. He's been combining them with cybernetics, which is what his previous clone with cybernetics, so that like he can have complete control over them. So he
knows he's the Prime.
Yeah, so he knows he's the Prime, because there's no argument there. So then Kaboomerang is like, okay, yo, we need fucking backup. Like he calls Cecil like, yo, we need backup as a Mauler here. Can you like spare a superhero or two? And it transitions back to El Chupacabra in Chihuahua, Mexico, and he's basically like he's living underneath the church because he found God and is going through like penance for what he did in the last volume, and he's about to like take a drink, and then he stops himself and then just pours it down the drain, and then he hears something outside, and then it gets revealed like, oh yeah, he's been pouring down, like he's been like fighting the urge to like drink, and like ever since you see like this like these shelves, these empty bottles, because he's trying to deal with his sobriety. So he goes upstairs, and the local town villagers are talking to the priest about, yo, like there's a monster that's been like taking all of our children at night. And the thing is, like, we tried our best, like we kept an eye on them. We even tied bells on their legs, their ankles, to like make sure we can hear them if anything goes wrong. And they're just gone. And then basically like they ask, El Chupacabra decides like help. Is like, hey, like listen, like if you have anything, like any clothes, anything of your children, I can track their scent, because he has good his heightened senses. And he's like, yeah, sure, it's no problem. He's like you can just take this, and it's like and it's these two parents talking about their daughter Marisol, and then like and it basically said, we have a piece of Marisol right here, and we get like a shot of like they're holding like her ankle,
and she has a bell around her
with the bell attached.
I don't know. Yeah, it's brutal,
pretty gruesome. It transitions back to the Utah at the Guardians headquarters. And then Knockout's just Knockout and Outrun, and they're basically expressing their boredom about like Outrun's like, yo, I wish I was in Bangladesh. He's like, really? Like, why would you say that? Because, like, I don't want to be here on sentry duty where I could be, like, outside. I could even take a car wash robbery right now if I wanted to. And then Outrun, again, being thoughty is like, we could do something else right
She's a
now.
bit of a
Basically, like,
hoe.
try, huh?
She's a bit of a hoe.
She's a bit of a hoe. And
She's
basically,
full.
like,
You know what? It makes sense why she's a runner because she belongs to the streets, Mikey.
exactly. But yeah, but like she's basically like, yeah, like, we could do other things, and she's like, are you coming off me? He's like, yeah, what do you think I'm doing? Like, what else are we gonna fucking do? And she's just like, no, can we not do that? He's like, okay, I didn't think of you as like an old fashioned type. And then that's when, and basically it's like, no, I'm not old fashioned, I'm just a one partner type of gal, obviously. I'm not a freak like you. And Miss Popper shows up like, yo, we need your help. In Kuwait, and she's like, yeah, you weren't interrupting anything. So it transitions back to like the fight, and again we see all the Guardians: Best Tiger, Japandroid, Black Samson, Kaboomerang, and now Miss Popper, Outrun, and Knockout in the fight. And basically, they're basically trying to figure out like what the deal is, and Japan with their with their analytics saying like, oh, there's something wrong. I need further investigation. Miss Popper, follow me. And again, like Mahler Prime is holding his own and all that stuff, and like this fight's happening. So like, uh, eventually, what they find out is that yeah, there's a bomb like that the Mahler Prime has put in place, uh, which is like obviously not a good thing. It's genetic bomb as well, so that when it goes off, anyone in like a 20-mile radius will basically like have any male in 20-mile radius will have their genetic code rewritten, so that when they ever decide to have a chill child, it will turn out to be a Mahler child. And they
Now,
won't even know it, which is the crazy thing.
I think that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. Well,
I think it's hilarious. Totally dumb, but I think hilarious.
yeah. Um, So then basically like she's like, listen, here are the various coordinates of these bombs that we found. Miss Popper teleport them and we'll disarm them. So then it transitioned to like somewhere in the North Pacific in a submarine. And I think it's the North Korean military, the North Korean Navy, but they're in a submarine and they're basically talking about how they're they're basically like trying to they're trying to like they're trying to go like as deep as they can go into the ocean for some unknown reason, and like they're on like it's difficult to like work operate submarine with maximum depth. And then he's just like, Commander, like just so you know, like we're gonna have some hull breaches, and they have a hull breach. And he's like, listen, like we're almost there. Like basically, like it was revealed it's set, and basically like, yo, we're almost there. Don't worry about it. And it's like I think we're here, and it's revealed that they sent a missile out, and it's revealed to be that they're sending a missile into Atlantis. And it's like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen there? So then again, transitions back to the fight. Everyone's just like fighting, and then all of the host women, they get away, and he's like, oh no, what the fuck you doing? You can't run past the perimeter, and then their shock collars go off, and therefore like damaging the children that are like still that they're pregnant with. And he's like, oh god damn it, you're damaging our children. What the fuck is wrong with you? Then he goes up to Mala Prime, goes up to Japandroid, is like, yo, you get out of my way so I can deactivate the call so like these harlots don't damage my children. And he's like, where's the bomb? He's like, bomb, there's no bomb. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then he's just like, listen, like, we found a target location. We're just trying to figure out all the coordinates. And then basically, like, he once he starts talking, she like gets a coordinate from him, and then they start fighting, and then he basically just like, they can't. And then Miss Pop said, I can't find anything. It's like, yo, stop wasting our time. I where the coordinates. Like, why would there? He's like, why? Like, there's no bomb at these coordinates. Like, why would there be a bomb? He's like, and he was like, he said I activated it 4 months ago. He's like, I had a long time to generate like this plan, so I might as well just activate it early. And so he gets into his escape pod and rockets off. And then right when he's about to escape on his escape pod, Kaboomerang comes in clutch and throws a boomerang from like hella far away at the pod and explodes. Because remember, like he has telekinesis that he tries to hide.
He's just so good.
Yeah. Um. So then once that happens, Black Samson tells Outrun to go check the pod. It's empty, and then basically they head back to the nursery where they'll be like, "Yo, okay, now what the fuck are we gonna do with all these Mauler children?" And then freaking Black Samson's like, it doesn't matter because like we gotta change its diaper, and here's that panel of that shop. So it transitions back to Chihuahua, and El Chupacabra is investigating, and basically like he's trying to find leads, and he's getting closer and closer and closer, and he finds a pile of bones, and like a mass pile of bones, and he basically just like like only is like the thing is like all the remains like there must be hundreds of them, and all of them must be human, and he's like whatever it's doing is covering its tracks, and when basically like it's revealed like I feel like like something I feel like it's still here, and then he gets the reveal that it's the astounding Wolfman.
It's the astounding Wolfman, leader of the Wolf, Charles of Wolf.
The Hampton School of Gifted Werewolves.
Yeah, the Hampton School of Gifted
Werewolves. Our boy Gary Hampton, aka the Astounding Wolfman, is eating children supposedly, and that's how that ends.
Sure. He's just around a pile of bones that belong to children.
I mean, from what it looks like, Demoan, it looks like he's the one eating children.
Damn, I guess we'll have to read the next issue to find out.
Weird, yeah. But thoughts on this one?
This issue, not much. Solid issue. I think it's definitely picking up as a story.
Yeah,
I definitely like where this story is going more. I like the execution of this story more than the last one.
100%. It's a lot better executed.
I still think it's a little wordy in some parts, but like they definitely toned it down. It's definitely a step up. So like if you got through Guardians of the Globe, you can definitely get through this. In fact, I recommend getting through this.
Yeah. It's a good issue. I mean, the fact that like that Mauler reveal I thought was pretty dope because like through the last time we saw the Mauler twins, they were dead. So this is the prime Mauler that I don't even think they were even aware of.
Yeah, I guess not. That's insane. So he was not. So the other two were both clones.
Those two were both clones the entire time. Wild.
That's insane. I would have never known that.
Yeah, but we'll see what they're gonna plan on doing with all these children. But yeah, any other thoughts before we move on?
No, they're good thoughts. No other thoughts really.
All right, bro. All right, bro. Then you got volume issue 3.
So we start out issue 3, Guardian of the Globe.
Sorry.
Oh, you got it.
Awesome cover. Listen, all the covers are great.
No, the covers are great. It's El Chupacabra fighting Wolfman on this cover is really cool.
Yeah, and we see Monster Girl, Japandroid in the background, and Outrun as well.
Mm-hmm. Although, and I understand it's probably just because I've never seen a full body shot of Wolfman, but his legs look so short in this picture.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we start off, and they're in Baltimore, Maryland, and we have our boy Black Samson sitting there, framed in darkness behind him, holding a razor, and he's saying this sort of thing isn't normally my style, but he's going to make an exception for you. So at first, I don't know where this issue's going. Is it a fake thing? Is it a torture thing? We don't know, but it turns out he's just given his grandfather a straight razor shave.
Isn't his grandfather some old dude?
It might just be some old. Oh, it's just an old dude. It is just an old dude because he's helping out at the shop. Yeah, that makes that I misunderstood. But the guy is a grandfather. It's just not his grandfather.
Yeah.
Because he's going to his grandbaby's naval graduation.
Mm-hmm. So he gotta look fresh.
He's gotta look fresh, and Black Samson's just telling him he's a little out of practice. Mm-hmm. So gotta stay quiet, stay still. And he brought with him Kid Thor and Knockout, and it seems like they're helping and they're picking up pointers on busting villains. But then they're like, "Hey, we thought we were going to be learning actual superhero stuff." not just sweeping up hair clippings and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Samson, now Black Samson is everything that any kind of superhero or like public service protection person should be. Like, he's going out of his way not just to stop with the big stuff. He's going out of his way to like go into small shops, show face, like have a positive public image around him.
Mm-hmm.
Not just coming in, saving the day, destroying the town, leaving. Like, he's coming in with helping clean up. He's coming in helping them live their daily lives, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
But he finishes the shave, and he congratulates this man on his granddaughter graduating the Naval Academy. And the lady asks him to do someone else's hair. And we learn that Black Samson's like, when people are down and out, something that's good is to be presentability. So it's nice to always be presentable no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
This shop helps him be good for interviews and stuff. And he just explains that. But then they're just having a conversation, obviously. And people, of course, are lining up because they want a haircut from Black Samson.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they're lining up. But then they hear a crash. And, oh no, the elephant himself is breaking into Checky Cash.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So he's breaking into it. And honestly, it's just bad luck. 3 superheroes against just him. He's taken out pretty easily. But anyway, Black Samson's like, hey, you used to be a big league world-class villain. Like, what happened? And he's like, you know what? Well, you got to understand, bro. I live in a world now where you people hang out in barbershops. What do you think's going to happen to me? And he just had the conversation, and it looks like Black Samson's gonna not let him off, but like, he's being very peaceful about a man who just robbed a store.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And like, he's giving him an out. That's not just going to jail. It's also something constructive on top of that. Mm-hmm. So like, it's Black Samson's just being a great hero here. And I think that was my favorite part of this comic. This little section of it. But we still have more comic left. And this is where we get to the El Chupacabra stuff. So obviously, Wolfman and El Chupacabra having a big fight. But apparently, Wolfman's calling El Chupacabra the animal. So it seems like Wolfman thinks El Chupacabra ate those kids. But of course, El Chupacabra thinks Wolfman ate those kids. And, they start fighting. And then some guy he woos from the top of a cliff. And they're both like, well, we made a mistake. We should go fix this.
Yeah.
But anyway, we flash over to Paris. We have Le Bruiser. He's raising this statue to signify that Paris is coming back. It's a good sign. It's a cheerful sign for the populace. And they're putting curfews in place. They're trying to get everything back to normal so that everything's fixed. Mm-hmm. But obviously, Britt gets a call, and he's told about El Chupacabra and how they need to go. And then Britt's wife comes over, and their son's crying. She has the son, and they thought that he would do well in this environment because of the visual stimulation, but it's just not working. Robot notices he's overwhelmed. So they get him on a jet and they want to take him away. But then we flash back to Le Bruiser, and Le Bruiser's pulling the statue too far.
Yeah.
He pulled it too far forward. He's too strong.
Look, Britt's like, God damn it.
But that mistake, and I don't know how that mistake, because that must have been so loud.
Yep.
It made the child laugh and point doggy. So that fixed the child's problem. But anyway, we flash back again to Mexico. El Chupacabra and Wolfman are running up on Wolfman's student. Wolfman says he'll take care of it because, he wasn't the one that was responsible for the crime, but since it was his student, it's his responsibility to take care of it. So he goes out there and he pins his student, and his student seems possessed. And then his student throws up something gross from his mouth into Wolfman's mouth, and Wolfman stands up and he's taken over. He's possessed too. And the first thing he says is, "This is a body for conquering a planet." Whoever this is taking control of his body, and it's not a good sign for our heroes.
Nope.
And of course, we flash back again to Atlantis. Now, we all know Atlantis, home of the Coward King, as we know.
The Coward King.
And we all know that Set was on his way there last. And of course, the Atlanteans see him, and Set seems to be... He's emerging from the Holy Sepulchre, and so they assume that he's trying to steal their treasures. Because they did crash a submarine into, the city and stuff. So they try to destroy him. It doesn't work. He has a belt on that absorbs energy and reflects it. It's the crest of Physalis. Yeah. And he basically one-hit KOs all the fish people down there. And then we watch him jet off into the sky again. So we'll probably be seeing Set again sometime soon. Yep. Anyway, we come back to Wolfman. Wolfman's now chasing El Chupacabra. And El Chupacabra's like, "Hey, I don't want to kick this man's ass because he's a good guy. He's just possessed." But he eventually gets back up. Monster Girl comes. And they start fighting. And honestly, Wolfman just kind of clocks her shit by scratching her in the back because Monster Girl doesn't pay attention. But anyway, El Chupacabra tries to tell them everything that's happening. And they're just kind of telling El Chupacabra to shove it. I don't think El Chupacabra should be out here. But if he's going to be the only one on your team out here, you should at least listen to him when he tries to explain the situation. Because he's the only one who can right now. So they're just being assholes. He shouldn't be out there, but they're treating him worse than he deserves because they put him out there. Exactly. They go to check up on the student that was knocked out. He tells them that this is a little beast that wants to make all of the world a hive mind. He got hit. It was a little blob. It happened from an alien crashed ship. It jumped inside of him, and apparently that's the grossest thing that's ever happened to him, even though he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it wants to use people as hosts to breed inside of them. And those things included killing things, making those bone piles, all of that stuff. And it was just so it wanted to get stronger so it could upgrade and steal more powers. Well, anyway, they're fighting this thing in the background, and they fire off, and the little monster thing jumps out. But I don't think it expected Outrun to be that fast reaction-wise. So Outrun knocked it away, and it went inside Japandroid. Now, they're getting cocky because, haha, this thing went inside of an artificial being. It's fucked. It can't do anything. Apparently, this thing evolved that way. It actually prefers robots. So now they're faced with a new threat in Japan. Japandroid turning is terrible because Japandroid was the only one who had a chance against Set last time, and now that Japandroid's just gone.
Word.
Japandroid's not even a factor right now. It's so unfortunate.
So unfortunate.
We love Japandroid, though. She is a traitor right now, though. So, what were your thoughts on the issue? Besides,
I thought it was cool. I think it's unlike the rest of you, I actually kind of dig the Astounding Wolfman. I don't think he's that bad. So
I like the Astounding Wolfman. I wasn't a fan of his comic. I really liked him in Invincible.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't mind. So anytime he shows up in anything, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I dig it. I think he showed up in the last Guardian of the Globe too. So I think as well.
I think that's where he made that joke for the first time. The gift at school.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I dig it. It was okay. It was a good issue. That turn with Japandra, I thought was an interesting a twist that I thought was kind of cool.
I think it's a bold and fun move to take your strongest, one of your strongest members and turn them evil so that
Mm-hmm.
people have to deal with it. I think it's fun. However, I don't know where it's going with this, though. I just know
Yeah.
they're going to have to fix the issue before they deal with Set. Otherwise, they're just going to use the issue to deal with Set.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two outcomes I can feel.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was solid for the most part. All right. Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to the next shit. So
Yeah. Finally on
issue, I think we're on
four.
20. We're on 24.
Issue regular 4.
Yeah. So issue
Issue 4.
24. Yeah, issue 4. Sorry, I keep saying 24 for some reason. Issue 24. Again, cool cover. Assuming that it's mostly gonna focus on Outrun, which I can confirm it does. Uh, I'm trying to like get the. Okay, there we go. So it basically starts off where we left off. Uh, basically like again, Japandroid has gotten taken over by this parasitic creature. Everyone's freaking out because they didn't expect this to happen. And he describes her as like he's like yeah, like organic bodies are like messy vessels, but this is like a precision instrument, so that's why he can like morph her to do whatever he wants her to do, and it's pretty gross. Um, but at the same time, like she's trying to fight him by like using like her system override programming, but like she's like she starts to peek out a little bit, but like it eventually he takes control again. She starts fighting all the guardians, and he's like he like like he starts fighting Wolfman and like slashes freaking Monster Girl in like the chest, and it's like bloody, and then Outrun starts whacking at her, and then
Mm-hmm.
basically what happens is like she's just like the parasite's getting like used to like how easy it is for like change like for Japandroid to change form, so he basically just starts adapting, and then that's when they start actually formulating a plan. So they take out all of they try to like Triple Crab was like, yo, we gotta take out like Japandroid, like try like going after her tentacles, because if she like gains control of like Invincible or like Miss Popper, then we're like the
It's
whole
over.
planet's screwed.
Yeah. Miss
And
Pop.
like I forgot that he meant like Zandale, like bulletproof. I thought he meant Mark, and I was like, that's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Um but yeah, so he attacks her at the tentacles, and then that's for a second, that's when Japandra gains control. And she's just like, listen, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna expose that alien to like the my nuclear core, so like everyone's staying clear, and basically like, wait a minute, you're trying to like basically like cause like a nuclear meltdown, and she's just like, yeah. um yeah, so once that I don't know if it's it's not. But yeah, so like events like that happens. Yeah, so then she's about to expose it to like, so she activates her nuclear core, and then basically just like if she's seen its mind that like it carries a million of like fertilized eggs, waiting for other hosts. So like she can't allow it to escape, so she sets it off. It tries to escape because it has no idea what she's doing, but then she
Mm-hmm.
like shuts her mouth, so she traps it, and then she explodes.
She's got to go big boom.
Yeah, she goes big boom,
Otherwise,
and
all the eggs will get out.
exactly. So then she basically explodes, and then basically like yo kid, like say something, and then like all we see is like a melted like, well, here's like the detonation, and then all we see is like a melted like Japandroid, and it's like gruesome and horrifying.
Yeah,
Um
she'll be back. She was last time.
yeah. We'll see. I don't know if she comes back. I don't remember if she comes back in like the main story if we see her, but like yeah. But so as of now, like from the looks of it, like she is down for the count, and then basically just said like, Outrun just says congratulations, Guardians, you saved the world. So then it transitions back to Virginia, where Donald and his wife are watching their son at a track meet, and Donald's kind of going a little bit too hard and being just like, "Yo, like Donald Jr., like stop! You gotta run faster. You gotta like kick your feet up. Like, honey, I'm telling him to kick his feet up. Like, why is he not doing that? Like, he's freaking. He's just being a very aggressive like sports dad, and
Yeah,
like
look at him. He
and
has.
basically and things like this,
I love the horns that come out of his neck.
oh yeah, word. Yeah, so like eventually like there's a kid that's bothering him that's right behind his son who's overweight and is gaining on him. Like, dude, don't let the fat kid pass you. And he activates like the horns on the side of his neck and basically like screams it out and is like, do not let the fat kid pass you. And it's like, dude, what? It's like it's kind of funny. And then basically the parents of that kid are like, wait, the fat kid, you don't let the fat kid do what? And he's like, oh, never mind. In fact, he's a nice kid. He's faster than
He looks nice. He looks nice. He's just a little chubby.
yeah, he's faster than he looks. And then his wife leaves. So it transitions back to Utah where their robot is operating or is examining the corpse of Japandroid, and everyone's very nervous. And basically like everyone's outside of the thing, outside of the operating room because like it's well contained. Like robots the one that can go inside because like she is very irradiated because she had a meltdown. So so he's the one that could like help her. And basically like everyone he's basically just like he's examining her. He's gonna put her in a containment unit, and then freaking the Chupacabra starts freaking out and is like, yo, it's all my fault. It happened again because again, remember he was at fault for killing Cast Iron. It's the fact that he failed again. He's just like relapsing, and Britt's like, yo, it's not really your fault. And he's like, oh god,
there's nothing that could have been done differently.
Exactly.
Especially considering they didn't want to listen to him. Like he was trying to warn them what was happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so then he walks away crying, but then basically like Britt's like, yo, make sure he doesn't like, get a drink, and Black Santa chases after him. And basically like Yeti's adorable. He's like, yo, wait, so there's no hope. And he's like, and basically Robot confirms like, yeah, I'm to tell you the truth, like we don't even know, like honestly, like we'll never really know if she's gonna be okay because like we don't really know. Like we know she came from Japan and she showed up like a few years ago, like kicking ass and saving lives, but we don't really know who made her or like where exactly she came from. So like,
or why she's doing it.
She just kind of showed up. So then then she just fought, and then as soon as as soon as she like helped Japan, she started helping us. So like we honestly don't know much about her. So as of now, all we can do is just like contain her and contain her body, and maybe something will happen. We don't really know, but at the most part, we don't know if she was like a complex remote android or like a piloted robot or like a form of sentient synthetic life. Or we don't know who made her again, as I said before. All we know is that she made herself a hero, and like everyone's like crying, all that stuff. So then basically like Outrun's like walking out, and she's like, I can't watch this. And then Best Tiger's like, wait a minute. So then he goes outside, right? And it's just like, and basically just like and he basically asks like, how long? And he's like, what? Like how long do you? He's like, how long have you taken the body of Outrun? She doesn't know what she's talking about. He's like, you need to brush up on your English because like you're not.
Doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, like she doesn't know what she doesn't know what he's talking about at all. And basically just saying like you're not Outrun. It's like you talk like Outrun. You don't talk like Outrun, and you don't move like her. And he's like you're a lot more slower. And he's like, slower. What do you mean slower? And he's like, yeah, like Outrun loves speed. Like she's a speed freak, but like you're just a lot slower. It's like it's like you hesitate every time you're in battle. And she's like, yo, I'll show you speed real quick. And then essentially like they start to go in like in a fight. And then he's like, no one's faster than me. But then like he manages to take her out. And then it's just like, like what the fuck? And then like he's like, I always know what you'll be. And she's like, screw this. Like I was like, you won't put a bullet in your friend. Basically like exposing herself. He shoots a barrel. He shoots a jug of water barrels, and then it falls onto her. And then basically it is revealed. Like he basically says like he's like like how did you know, like no one else knew. He's like, you're blindfolded, for God's sake, you're fucking blind. And then and he's like, your armpit. He's like, what? Like yeah, when you run, wind whistles up like up with like wind whistle under your arm past a whisker. He's like, you shave up against the grain, Outrun shaves down, so there's no whistle. And then armpit whiskers, you kidding me? And then he's like, yeah, name not good tiger, Best Tiger. And then it's revealed that Embrace is taking control over the entire time.
Best tiger though. Like
yeah.
dang.
So then basically it's revealed that Embrace has taken over, has been in control of Outrun for like this entire time. Um, and and then she comes to, and then basically like Embrace leaves. So then what happens is next is that she shows up in Mumbai in India, and like she's trying to go to her headquarters, but like um, and she basically like, oh, like the Guardians are onto me, like the Chinese gunfighter, and she's like, yo, where's Set? And there's like a huge like hole in like in her headquarters that she goes outside, and everyone's like panicking and running, like there's stuff wrecked and all that stuff, and then next thing you know, uh she sees Set get like punched through something, and then Set goes through him, and she's like, what the fuck is happening here? And then he's like, wait, who on earth could do such a thing? Who could do this to Set? Like, no one's more powerful than Set. And then
No one.
and basically, and then someone grabs onto her, grabs her, like digs into her, and is like on Set's like on Seth's Earth's on Set's Earth woman, or on mine. And it's we get this guy like basically pulling her in half, and then that's how that issue ends. So thoughts on issue 4?
I'm liking this issue so far because I like this new villain at the end. I like his funny antlers, and I like his braided.
He's clearly like a he's like
a Set.
For me, I kind of described him as like Osmosis Jones mixed with like Trigon.
Ooh, Osmosis Jones mixed with That's a good description.
That's what he looks like to me.
No, yeah, that's a solid description. That's good. Okay, that's the description we're going with. But no, I like this issue a lot. I think it was a fun thing how Outrun is apparently just a fucking shit show. Was a shit show. No one noticed.
Yeah.
All the men just went with it. Apparently they were
we'll find out. We'll find out like what her reactions to like what
Wait, that's the next issue.
That's next issue. But
but yeah, no. A little bit of a spoiler. She's not too happy about it.
Yeah, she's not. But yeah, the stuff with Japandroid. I mean, that was like, damn, Japandroid, man, that sucks. But I hope she comes back at some point. I really do.
So do I.
But yeah, like that stuff with that was a cool arc with her sacrifice. It's pretty cool. The Donald thing was just very fucking funny to me. And yeah, the Best Tiger stuff, as well as like everyone like coping with like Japandroid's like presumed death now. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I thought this issue was solid. It was one of the best. It was one of the best issues for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the same thing pretty much because I really, anytime we get to see Best Tiger do anything, I am 100% down for it. Best Tiger's the best part of this.
He's so great. Yeah, but any other thoughts on 4 before going 5?
No, I can't think of any more thoughts.
All right. So do you want to do 5?
Yeah, issue 5 coming up. So we start with the cover of issue 5. We see Britt and the Guardians are looking around at a massacre. Also, I like how Britt is still very much the main character of this, even though he's no longer the actual leader.
Yeah, he's no longer the leader. Yeah.
So I think that's very cool. But anyway, it's Monster Girl, Black Samson, Kaboomerang. I always forget her name. Do you remember
Pegasus.
it? Pegasus. Thank you. I'm gonna remember that one day.
Probably not.
You're right. But anyway, the point is, it's a slaughter. These bodies look withered. It seems like something happened, and we'll figure that out. But we first start off with the Pentagon, and Outrun not too happy.
This is my favorite part of this fucking book.
It's because it's so good.
Because we complained last time. Why is she slutty out of nowhere?
She's just a whore out of nowhere. Like she was like for the first 2 issues, she was a fine hero, and then just out of nowhere, she was just a whore.
Yeah, like she was sleeping with everybody, and then turns out that was intentional the whole time. That's so smart. Like,
right? To be planning that far ahead is really cool.
Yeah,
or at least to use things that far that to mean things that far ahead is cool. But anyway, um, apparently Outrun was conscious for everything, just no control. So she remembers every detail of what they did with her.
Word.
And Invincible saying like, you can't really be mad at us. From our point of view, there was 100% consent. Like, you were very enthusiastic about it. We didn't know that you were taken over. And like, that's true. I get that. But like, she also is very right to be upset.
He is, yeah.
I just think she's directing a lot of her anger, and they do deserve some anger directed at them. But I feel like she's not directing enough at Embrace, which Embrace isn't here to receive that anger. So I do get it.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, she's a chain smoker, and she's like, you guys couldn't tell something was up with my complete change of moral character. And and the new Invincible points out that, hey, you should just be mad at the ghost chick, not us. Because, like I said, from their point of view, there was complete consent. But then he goes on and he makes it real bad. He's like, and he's like, no means no, but now also yes means no. And he goes on asking if he should bring an exorcist to every day because he's upset about being blamed for this. Because
Yeah.
this is just one of those weird fucking situations that only
Yeah.
happen in a
And
comic book.
plus, he kind of gets cocky a bit because he never really thought any of it because he's so used to women just coming at him
Yeah.
because
And
he's so
now
irresistible or whatever.
now he finds out that a woman that was throwing himself at him didn't actually want to throw herself at him.
Yeah.
But anyway, they still have the conversation, and gosh. Anyway,
Also, I love how Shapesmith is like, yo, like I don't understand what we did bad. Like, you kept saying it was good over and over and over. I'm just like,
Shapesmith did a good job apparently. Shapesmith apparently filled every portion with his shape-shifting ability. But anyway, we take a step back. We view from the cameras. They're watching this go down. Apparently, this was Outrun's idea. She'll need a lot of counseling, and like it's not going well. But like they were like, Outrun should get this out before she goes back on the field with them because she was controlled by Embrace for a long time.
I checked. It started at like issue 5 of like the last one.
Yeah.
It's like late issue 4 or like issue 4, like around issue 4 or 5.
But anyway, but like apparently, it's like it happened first in Paris. Apparently, apparently she can just kind of go back and forth, just like intermittent, like small nudges, basically.
Yeah.
But now Embrace knows everything about the whole organization.
Yeah, but it seems like she's dead.
Yeah, it seems a little bit. But the point is, they're just going about like she knows everything. And Robot's trying to be like, should we like pay attention to her always so this doesn't happen again? But then, of course, Monster Girl points out that you probably shouldn't. Spying on her therapy is not going to help.
Yeah.
It's not going to help anyone. It won't help her. She'll feel invaded. She won't open up. It won't help them. And Monster Girl points that out very smartly. But they obviously need to monitor this situation because it could have gotten violent. But like actual therapy is going to be different because she does need that.
Yeah, she does.
But anyway, they keep moving on. They keep having the conversation. El Chupacabra goes on about he's trying to explain it to him.
To Shapesmith, but he's just not getting it.
Yeah, he's not getting it. But anyway, he walks him away, and then you have our boy here, Kaboomerang, and he's like, oh, I just want you to know that like I never thought I was hurting you, and I never would have ever wanted to hurt you. And like he seems genuinely hurt about this because they had a little thing going.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't get too attached just because of what Embrace made me do. And he's like, he wanted to tell her that like, hey, you were someone special to me, and I couldn't walk away without telling you that I cared about you, and that even if it was Embrace, I thought we had something. He thought. And he was upset about it, and he just wanted her to know that what his feelings. She did not expect this. Now he realizes that it sounds like he's making it all about him, and then just kind of says, "I probably should have never told you. I'm sorry," and just kind of leaves. And he's just apologizing as he leaves. But Outrun's intrigued because she did not expect someone to actually fall in love with him when she was half embrace.
The thing is, like, you missed something because at the same time, like he, like she was his first time, and like that's and like
I
like
forgot
that's what
about that.
yeah that's why it's hurting him so much because like it's like he was waiting for someone special and he thought that she was that special person.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out,
And he'll never have the chance to give his first time away again.
exactly.
Damn. That's real rough for him. But anyway, we bounce back to Britt. Fun fact, Britt, he can't find his son. But it's okay because his wife had Pegasus babysit the son for a bit. And Britt is they're trying to have some alone time, calm down because the baby and everything. Oh no, I'm sorry. They gave the baby to the ex crackhead that runs the strip club that Britt sold to her or gave to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or no, he gave it to the guy, but she works there. But anyway, she's turned her whole life around, and she was watching the child, and Britt's explaining like, "Hey, I understand." And him and his wife are talking more about their son, and she's like, "Our son's not normal," and it's like it's a lot, and he's trying to make her feel better. So he takes her out, and he's like he wants to show her something, trying to make her feel better. And we come up on the Guardians of the Globe fighting a monster in Maryland,
Yeah,
and she's like, "You're
the walking dread
the
is
Walking Red, that's right." And she's like, "You're not taking me to work now, right?" And he's like, "No, these guys can handle it. I just want you to watch." And he's like, and she's curious, like, what does superheroes have to do with the little autistic boy? And like, is what he's gonna have to do with his traumas? And he's like, no, look at that, look at them. And he goes on to describe each of them and like what makes them extraordinary. Like Monster Girl, she's a wonderful, successful woman trapped as part of the body of a monster. Then there's Yeti. He's like the runt of his litter, and he still fits. He's still a hero.
mm-hmm.
And then Shapesmith, he's an alien, but he came to Earth, and now he wants to be a good dude. And of course, we have Le Bruiser. He's just a dog. Like Le Bruiser's just a dog. Like there's nothing else for Le Bruiser to say, but he's a dog. Which, again, extraordinary. And he's pointing this out, and he's like, none of these people are normal. And our boy isn't normal either. So when I see people that aren't normal, I just imagine that they're destined for extraordinary things. And he says this, and he just tries to make it go like tries to make her feel better, and she does. And then she's like, "Hey, do you want to go bowling?" And there's a couples bowling league, and they're gonna go. But then we come back and we see that Embrace is looking like a pile of jelly. We find Embrace. She's looking like a pile of jelly. But anyway, he's confused at what Embrace was.
Yeah.
She thought that she was safe, but Thoth said no. And it looks like our boy Set is saving his woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And this man looks like he's playing by the old man's rules. He's hiding his face, which she approves of because he's calling his brother ugly, but he doesn't know why his brother's hiding his power. He thinks it's ridiculous that he's not using it, and Set just kind of kicks his ass. He's like, we were born immune to each other's powers, but I don't take chances. He studies the planets that he plans to conquer so he can exploit them. He turns the very worlds into his weapons, and then he goes on about how needing that he doesn't need any other power to destroy him. And then apparently his Trigon Osmosis Trigon, his brother.
Trigon Jones.
Trigon Jones, that's it. Trigon Jones. Trigon Jones. But anyway, Trigon Jones, it left them weakened. They're not a match. Because he crossed the line between worlds. He sacrificed billion of life, and he's weakened, and that he says that's why he's losing. But he's gonna use his trickery to turn all these people into dust so that he can use them for himself. And now we cut back to Kuwait, where I don't remember if you remember this, but the Mahler twins.
Mahler Prime.
Sorry, Mahler Prime, with all of his children. Well, it wasn't a good situation. But all the children are now taken by the Guardians, the Globe. Most of the parents just kind of gave up the kids because I don't think many parents would want these children. And I understand why, but also it's not the fault of the children. But I also understand why they wouldn't want them. But anyway, they're going through the report and they're like, hey, this is going to be expensive. They're joking about having all these kids. And they're like, yeah, like we'll have a lot of Maulers. Hopefully they don't all end up like the actual Mauler, but like we'll have to watch them. And it's just, you got to watch them. But then Mauler shows up and they say, son of a bitch. And he says, I'm no one's son, more like a father figure. So he's the father of a bitch. And Invincible is upset. But you know what? Mauler just wants his kids back. He apparently worked around so carefully that he broke no laws. And especially with the children, and he wants his children back.
Oh my.
And he also wants to be compensated for damages.
It's so funny. The nerve,
the audacity of this is a real villain right here. I know that we have villains who can destroy planets, but a villain that knows how to work the legal system is a real villain.
Exactly, especially a villain who doesn't want to pay child support by abandoning all of his children.
But anyway, Invincible just kind of kicks his ass because he's like, but he's ultimately making the situation worse because this dude didn't come here for a fight. And so he beats the shit out of him, but he didn't come here for a fight. He's not a villain. And they're trying to stop him, but they can't. But you know what? He says he kicks his mother's ass and says, hey, we got lawyers too. And he says that they have until he wakes up and they can charge him with something. And then they can blame that on why he beat him up. But he didn't really have a reason. He just didn't like his face or his attitude. There's talk. They're talking. They're talking about how they watched. And then they're talking. They're wondering what happened to the kid. Some of Britt's work friends are watching them. And it's Yeti and Pegasus. I remembered this time.
Yeah. You got it.
But anyway, for some reason, Yeti is pushing him. And this kid definitely jumped. And Pegasus just caught him. And oh no, Yeti pushed him too hard, and Pegasus caught him. And it was a good time. It's a good little cutscene. I think it's cute. But anyway, Britt's bowling, and he gets a call and immediately just drops the ball. And he gets an emergency, and there's an emergency call, and guess who it is? It's the two brothers fighting. You know how one brother kicked all of their asses? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, now there's two of them. Oh no!
And there was another one.
God, honest, I'm not gonna lie to you, Mikey. I was thinking in my head when we started this, what are the odds that we read this comic and the Guardians just lose again? But like the world is saved for some reason because of some bullshit. But the Guardians lose. And the odds are very high of them just losing right now.
Yeah, basically.
I don't understand. I don't see how they can come out with this unless these two men kill each other. That's the only way they can.
That's the only way it will work.
Because they clearly can't beat one of them.
Oh, no, for sure they cannot. Not even close.
So two is impossible.
Yeah, for sure, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Yeah,
But
but
anyway, what do you think of this issue?
it was good. No, I like this issue. Like it
I
was
like it too.
that outrun plot line. I think is good. Like
Um,
because we literally were like, we don't like Outrun because she became a thought out of nowhere. The fact they
It was
actually
so
used
cool.
that.
She was a fast hero, and oh God, but then she became a. And I'm glad it was for a reason.
Yeah,
I'm glad it was for a reason.
for sure. I mean, yeah, like I mean, other than that, I mean, I think again, the whole I'm liking again the whole Britt and Jessica arc, like with them being parents, is I think is always great.
I'm
I'm
not
not
gonna.
really.
Set is growing on me as a villain.
He is, but like his brother's not really that interesting to me.
No, his brother, like you said, it's just the most interesting thing is that he's Osmosis Trigon
He says Moses Trigon, and that's it.
or
Put
Trigon Jones.
Yeah, I know there's like one person watching this, but like put like spread it around hashtag Osmosis Trigon. No,
Osmosis
Trigon Jones.
Trigon
Trigon
Jones.
Jones, my fault. But yeah, other than that, no, I think it's solid. It's good. The
Yeah,
the out the outrun part of it's my favorite part. I like that one a lot.
yeah. It
Like
my favorite part of it seems I like this second volume
yeah,
because it's not just superhero stuff. It's very much them living their lives, which I think is cool.
exactly for sure. But yeah, I think it's good. I mean, it just again, just Trigon Jones is a little boring, but like I'm growing on set though a little bit more than last time.
I like him. I like him a lot. He really started after he got upset that this guy was going to eat his girl's soul. Because like,
Exactly,
it was nice that he got attached. I like that.
exactly. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's solid. So do you have any other thoughts before we
No,
move on to the final
no,
issue?
this was just a solid. Honestly, it's a solid issue, and I just want to say that this is a very solid comic so far, and I'm very
Yeah,
pleasantly surprised.
it's already a lot better than the first one, which is a low bar, but it's still better than the first
Yeah,
one.
like it's like I would still rather be reading regular Invincible, but like especially considering the first one, I do like this,
For
and
sure.
it's gosh.
Well, all right. So we'll just get started on the last one. So obviously, issue 6 of Guarding the Globe, Volume 2. Cool cover though. I'll give it that. Even though Trigon Jones is a little boring for me, but like it's a cool cover of him facing off against a Brit. All right, so this issue starts off right in Mumbai in India, but what it appears to be, Set and Trigon Jones have finished their fight. Trigon Jones dead, as well as everybody else.
It's true.
So again, it
Set's the
looks like
ultimate
they
powerhouse.
lose.
Set's not even using his powers. He's just like this.
So again, it looks like they lose. Um, as we said before, but then after that, it transitions. Um, I'm assuming like a couple, like an hour, like an hour later before that happens, and essentially like the Guardians of the Globe show up and they're like, yo, like they're seeing Set and his brother start fighting, and like this is like they're trying to figure out like who should we fight, because I know there's Set, like who's the other guy? Is the other guy a good guy? And Samson's like, no one gives a who gives a shit, because we have to take them both out. But then remember last time we did that shit, we wrecked like most of Paris and got our asses beat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and basically, like,
It wasn't
we have to
pretty.
make sure that, Set doesn't use his powers, because the moment he activates, he snaps his fingers, like, we wake up in a sea of corpses, and that's not good. So basically, like, and basically just like, he figures out like maybe like the horn dude just sucks the life out of corpses and stuff like that, which makes sense. So, like that kind of energy can turn, especially if he absorbs us, that kind of energy could turn him into a
Especially
nuclear,
Monster Girl, he said.
yeah, the nuclear bomb. Yeah, especially Monster Girl. So basically, what like they're planning on doing is again evacuating the neighborhood to make sure that we get all the civilians out, and then
That's superheroing. Save as many people as possible.
exactly,
You're very clearly not fit
yeah,
to deal with this situation.
yeah,
The only ones who are fit are Nolan and the actual Invincible. There's the only two ones that should be handling this situation.
yeah, exactly. So basically, let's save as many people as we can, and try not to fight them, because if they can, if they suck out our powers, that's gonna be bad. So that's what they're planning on doing. So there's this building that's crushing, that's slamming. Uh, yeah, I think I got the right. Yeah, so this this building is like, they're trying to evacuate this building. Oh, my fault, Lord. But yeah, they're trying to evacuate this building. Uh, and they find this girl there, and she's like, her sisters are on the other side, and like she thinks they're hurt, and basically they're trying to like basically like get her and her sisters out of there, and then something happens where someone gets knocked into rubble, and then it hits Shapesmith, who is Britt's tether, and then it knocks him out, and then it drops Britt, so Britt's just stuck there. Then it transitions back to Osmosis, Trigon Jones, basically like figuring out like, yo, like who the fuck are y'all? You know what? Who cares? I'm just gonna like absorb. I'm gonna absorb y'all souls. And Kid Thor calls him an animal, and gets all pissed off. And then what happens is like he basically like goes in head first, even though Robot tells him to wait. We don't know what this guy like we're up against. So he gets the pulse to go up head first. He tries to hit him with the hammer that he just like
Hey, Mikey, guess what?
What?
He should have aimed for the head.
He should have aimed for the head. It's very Thanos like, isn't
it? Unfortunately, this other man did. He grabs his face and sucks him dry.
Yeah, he grabs him by the neck and basically sucks the soul of Kid Thor, and it presumably kills him. And I got kind of sad because like I really like Kid Thor ever since we did Capes. So
it's unfortunate he just got sucked.
Yeah, and seeing him from Capes and him showing up in Invincible and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, I fucking love Kid Thor, man. And now like he is presumably dead, and I'm just like, god damn, that's unfortunate.
Right?
But yeah, so he basically sucks out his soul and just throws his corpse. It's like, Jesus.
Honestly, I was a little. Oh, gosh, it's just so disrespectful. I would love it with the hammer. I think that would be funny.
It is
because he's worthy.
Probably. But yeah, the Bruiser gets pissed off, is about to attack him, but like Pegasus swoops him up before
honestly.
Before Trigon Jones could grab him so he doesn't absorb his powers.
When I first read that, Mikey, I won't lie, I thought we were gonna have to end the podcast.
Or yeah, that was gonna the moment if we said if Lev Bruiser dies throughout this entire podcast, we will stop it there.
We stop that volume, that one of the podcasts just doesn't get finished. We move on to the next one.
Exactly. Yeah, so then again, Outrun starts freaking out because like Kid Thor's fucking dead, and they're just like they're like hope seems lost because one of them's already died. So then essentially like, hey, like Trigon Jones is like, wait, do you have he goes up to Robot and he's like, wait, do you have a soul too? Because like I want some of that. He's like, and Robot's like, my body's probably like 1,000 miles away from you, so why doesn't even matter? But I do have a body in handy. He starts like shooting some rockets at him and starts doing explosions and all that stuff. And then he basically he gets his ass whooped, and then basically like his robot, like the suit breaks. Obviously he's not in it, obviously, but it breaks apart. And then basically like and he's like so like, oh, like, but then Robot reveals like, oh yeah, I was just stalling the entire time because I was like waiting for something to arrive.
Iron Man tweets out there.
Yeah, he pulls a fucking Iron Man 3, and it's just like, here are my other suits, and I love this. I love these panels, these pages of like all different types. I love when artists, especially like Otley, Walker, and now like Todd Knock, just experimenting with a different like suits of Robot. And Todd Knock kills it. This is really cool.
That's one of the reasons I like Iron Man, because they have so many different suits to experiment with him with. But like I love it even more for Robot because like they're all the same basic design. It's just very cool. They just moved a few things around, and it's still beautiful every time.
Especially like the one in the center, which I like. This is my first time I've ever seen this one like before, as well as the one on the left. But like that one looks a lot more like anime, like Gundam inspired. I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, so that should be like he basically like he refers to him like this as his toy box, and they all just start like assaulting missiles onto Trigon Jones. And so then it transitions back to Britt again. He's trying to hold the rubble back, but again he's bulletproof. Like he's bulletproof. He's not super strong, so like he just has the strength of a normal dude, which he addresses to this girl. And then what happens is like the rubble's coming down on them, and she tries to help him. like, he has the strength of a normal man, so like I bet like she would be a great help. And so then that, but again they start getting more crushed even more until like they get like really close, and he's like, yo, hang on. And so then like it's really like, oh, like he gets out, and then Seth realized like, wait a minute, you're injured because there's blood all over him. And he's like, that's not, I didn't think that was possible. And he's like, you son of a bitch, that's not my blood. And I was like, wow, like,
I
which
know.
means that girl didn't make it. uh
It's so sad.
Yeah, her and her sister did not make it, and I was like, shit. So basically like they Britt tries to fight, but like obviously like doesn't really do much to Set, but like basically just like listen, there's a lot of blood spilled today, and we could change that. So he tries to bargain with him, and he's like, wait, you're insane. Like, nah, listen. He's like, we got to. I just want to like just return to the status quo, and we just have a momentary alliance, momentarily. When we're done kicking the crap out of my brother, we can just go back to what we were doing. And like, it's like, what do you want? It's like, oh, like my brother again, like what he does, he just absorbs the life of species and just to feed his own power. But me, I like to like again what you said earlier, Demoan, like he likes to observe, to like exploit the weaknesses of these worlds and then conquer them, not like just kill all of them. So basically, like it's well, listen, you have me, either we can stop them all together, or you can just we could all just die, and along with their world. So it's up to you. So then yeah, they make this temporary alliance real quick. So then they come up with this plan where like we see Trigon Jones start like messing up Robot, and he tears him apart, and then basically like Britt goes up to him and is and basically is like he's like, you planned all this? Like, yeah, I knew you guys would come here. I mean, why would I not think about that? And yeah. It's like do me a favor, just axe next time. And so once he takes off his head, Britt starts to fight his brother, and then he grabs onto him, and then he's like, and basically he's like, like he's excited because he's like, you don't seem all that powerful, but I'll still like, but like at least you're not like your friend. And it's like, I'll take care. It's basically like, I'll take what I can get. He's like, yeah, get a good drink. And so he starts absorbing him. And we like see like, oh fuck, like Britt's gonna die, but no, like he does nothing. Like because of his durable skin, like it's not doing anything to him at all.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think. I think he's just alive good. Like he's really good at being alive.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Or he's bad at dying. He might suck at dying. That could be the other thing.
That's also a possibility. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it doesn't do anything. It's like, it tickles, and then he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Why are you still alive? Like, how could this happen? Like, it doesn't make any sense." He's like, is my power failing me? He starts doubting himself, and next you know, you just see Seth's legs sort of like going down on him, and we see he just throws a fucking train at him. It's like, easy solution, just throw a fucking train at my brother while he's distracted.
I mean, listen, sometimes you just gotta throw a train at your brother.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but so yeah, so then it's just a fucking train. So then basically like there's an explosion, and then we get this basically like the aftermath, and basically Set and Trigon Jones are gone, and basically just like like I guess like your life force is like I guess you're, and basically like I guess basically he asked, oh, Monster Girl makes this thing, like he asked if he's okay, and he's like, yo, for the first time in like a century, I don't think I gotta say I'm not okay, mm-hmm. So then it looks like, so then like basically like Black Sam's like, yo, I guess your life force was like bottomless enough to like freak him out, but then like Kaboomerang mentions like, yeah, you do look older though, which is revealed like the way Todd Knock draws him, like he does look a little aged up,
mm-hmm.
Not too much, but a little bit. So then basically like basically they say, oh yeah, like he threw a train on him and like it disappeared. So like let's just assess our losses and just call this a win. So they go back to the headquarters, and they're just
I think it's fair.
Yeah, which is fair. Yeah, it's fair. Just like just call it a win. Like even though
it's not like they could beat Set if they wanted to.
Exactly. But then yeah, so they go back to Guardians of the Globe, and then like Knockout starts rushing in because again to reveal that Monster Girl tries to stop her, but then revealed that Kid Thor is dead, and that was like her fiance, I believe. And then basically like Invincible's like, yo, it's so messed up. Like we lost him and we lost Japandroid like in such a close period of time. Like, that's not okay. And then basically, and he makes this comment like, I mean there were a lot of corpses laying around, How do you know you got the right mummy? And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, come on. And the Bruiser's like, I was grinding, like, yo, okay, sorry, my bad, no disrespect. So then, Knockout's like, crying, grieving, and then takes his hammer and is like, yo, this belongs to you, and she lays it on his chest. And then she's like, yo, goodbye, kid. And then the thing starts glowing, and we don't really see what happens, but she's just like, kid,
He becomes the new Kid Thor.
Huh?
She becomes the new Kid Thor. The hammer shows her.
I mean, we can either have two possibilities. Either he comes back to life, or she becomes the new Kid Thor.
I feel like that's what's going to happen, but I would actually kind of love to see her with the boxing gloves and the hammer.
That'd be fun. Yeah, so after that happens, we go back to Virginia, where we see Britt coming back home to his wife and to Jessica and Britt Jr. And they're watching the news and be like, yo, that's not something that Britt Jr. should be watching. Like, what the hell? And he's like, wait, you'll wake him because he's passed out. I'm playing with his blocks. And then basically ask him, like, hey, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, like, everything's all good. And he's like, he's like, the thing is, like, he mentioned something like, I wish, like, I think I might actually, like, I wish you probably think I should give this up, right? Demoan, turn on your light. It's dark as shit.
Oh, okay, my bad. Alexa, turn on the office light.
And then, it says that, like, I want to give this up. He's like, no, why would I want you to give this up? You help so many people, and it is a big inspiration, not just to the world, but like to our son. And you know what? Yeah, I wasn't really planning on, like, I'm sorry, but I screwed up date night though. Like, it's all good. Like, I understand how important, like, your work is to you, but just remember to make time for it.
To you, homie, it's important to you too.
Yeah. And then just basically just be like, like, we can just, like, always make time for Britt Jr. And like, but the thing is, like, also, like, remember when, like, Crystal's ex came to the place, like, she used to help her children with her homework, and then, like, her ex came to, like, see what's going on. You punched him, and you, like, punch him, knock him the fuck out. Like, that's the kind of man that that made me attracted to, like, the kind of man you are, and that made me fall in love with you. And then basically saying, like, listen, I'm fully accepting you, like, as a superhero and as a father. And then we get this page where, like, she's asking, like, Britt, because he seems kind of silent, and he passes out after a hard day's work with cradling his son. And that's how
I think this is a fun story.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know how I feel, though, about them having the Guardians just keep losing.
Yeah.
Like,
because they're really sure that, like, they can't win unless Mark's
the Guardians can't win. Like, they have all these small things that build to a big thing, and they can handle the small things, but they can't do that big thing. They lose every time. And then they're just lucky things turn out okay.
Yeah, word. But yeah, man, that's how issue 5 ends. So what are your thoughts on issue 5 from moving on to our final thoughts?
Isn't that 6?
Oh, 6. Sorry, 6 is it's my fault. 6.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the end of the whole thing. I thought it was good. Definitely better than Guardian the Globe 1. I enjoyed it. I liked especially the, like, side stuff, like with the autism and Outrun having to deal with. I would have liked to actually see more of Outrun dealing with her situation.
Yeah.
I just think they couldn't draw it out long enough because they only had 6 issues. I also really loved that one random panel we got of the elephant and Black Samson.
That was fun.
I don't know. It was nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I really liked it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll say that this book is, like, pretty solid. It's a lot better than the volume 1. I mean, granted, like, even though, like, yeah, like, Britt's not the leader of her team, he's basically, like, the main character going forward, like, with this series, and just, like, the arc with him, like, him and his wife, like, just trying to be, like, best parents they can be with this new obstacle with their son's autism is very like down to earth, like, interesting, like, plot to explore, and also, like, again, just going on the deep dive of, like, just having more backs, like, fleshing out more of, like, the characters that we saw, and, like, all the members that we saw, like, last time. Like, almost everybody had a good arc. Like,
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I don't think, at the very least, no one had a bad arc.
Exactly.
I don't think. Well, actually, Donald kind of had his thing in the
Yeah,
beginning.
Donald was. I don't know where the fuck they were going with that.
Yeah, so I guess maybe Donald, but that's just because they didn't finish it. But like, he's in more Invincible, so maybe it's kind of explored all throughout that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was good. I mean, Set was a lot better, even though like Trigon Jones was a little boring, but like that fight at the end for the last two issues were pretty cool. Yeah, like again, I just want a Kaboomerang and Best Tiger miniseries, bro. That'd be
I
so
would love
fun.
that. That would be the best miniseries.
I guess we got to make a fanfic or something. I don't know if Kirkman won't give it to us. But yeah, R.I.P. to Kid Thor, I guess, and to Japandroid because like they're dead at the moment from what we know. So
yeah, fortunate for them, honestly.
Yeah, but overall, yeah, this was pretty good. This was pretty good. This was solid. Like this was a solid story, a lot better. I really like. I mean, again, like Phil Hester. I mean, uh, did a good job for what he was given. And Todd, and the best part about the book for me is just the art. Of course, like Todd Knox's art really works a lot better with the Guardians of the Globe than it does with when Ransom Getty did it. Even though Ransom Getty is a great artist, but like.
It's the type of art.
It's his cartoon. It's his like highly rendered like cartoony style that like works well with this. In my opinion. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed it.
So did I.
And also the Mauler Prime twist was awesome. I did not see coming. I was like, okay, that's dope.
Because I always miss the Mauler twins, and it was good Prime.
Especially ever since like Oliver killed them, we don't see them again. Like even in Invincible, I don't think we don't see him again.
No, so, they're the Mauler twins.
Exactly.
They're legends.
Exactly. So, but yeah. Any other final thoughts before we close out?
No other final thoughts. Just overall solid story. Definitely an improvement from the last one, and I would definitely suggest it, especially if you enjoyed the last one.
Exactly. Yeah. If you like the last one, you like this one better, and even if you didn't like the last one. Which I mean, we didn't really. You'll like this one. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll close it out. Yeah. So thank y'all for the people who are watching or will watch this. Check out next up on Saturday. We will be covering volume 18, which is the Death of Everyone event, issues 97 to 102. So I'm very excited about that because that's also a really cool small event that happens in Invincible. That kind of like changes the status quo going forward. Yeah, also I just realized that tomorrow's a new episode of Invincible, the Amazon show. So like now that's 3 episodes, we have to do a review for it now. Like that's the second bonus episode. So I guess we'll do that Sunday. I don't know when we'll do that. But yeah, I guess look out for that as well. Yeah. That's basically about it. So again, get home safe, stay safe. Don't get too crazy. Don't get COVID. Get vaccinated. RIP to DMX. Yeah, and we'll catch you all later. All right.
Later.